Daniel, LionsDen Evans, and as always, you're inside the den, and the next episode starts right now.
May I introduce myself?
Welcome to the pride.
Welcome to the pride.
See the fire in my eyes, yeah. Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Just tell me if it's real.
Hey. What a time, what a time. What a time for a black man to be alive. Living in the struggle while trying to keep our composure. Killing each other while trying to look for that exposure. We all just want to make it, we should do it as a team. Build each other up and they can't even say a thing. Me and all my brothers just stuck together like glue. It's us against the world and you know what we finna do. Woo! Pop a bottle, we in here for celebration. We just wanna be the leaders that's pushing the generation. Take a seat and find your zone for the topic of conversation. Find a way for a positive revelation. Now this really ain't the time to be thinking about yourself, cause we just a bunch of hustlers that's trying to give out some help. We turn the Cubs into Lions inside of the den. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just wanna win. Hey.
As always, this is a live, unrehearsed, unscripted show. And right now in the studio, in the den right now today, we have two of our very own, Mr. Well. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man?
All right. Good to see you. And Miss Nin. All right. And so we're doing some new things this year on this season of our show, and we're going to be getting into some different topics, tackling some different things, some topics that we haven't really talked about before. But we want to introduce, the audience to some different conversations. So today we're going to be talking about the reverse gender roles as it pertains to us in society today and how things have changed over the years. And we just want to talk about that and just kind of give me some of your thoughts, brother.
It's a big one, man.
How does that, the reverse gender roles, how does that impact our youth and our kids today as we see it?
On so many different fronts, bro. Like, where could I begin? Where could I start? You got where, kids go to school and don't know how to go to which bathroom do I go to? Is it the girls' bathroom or is it the men's bathroom? It's not the same no more. Like, when we was coming up, you go this way for the girl, this way for the boy. Now you don't know which way you're going. Right.
So is that something that we have to talk about at home, or do we leave that job for the school system to prep our kids for this type of stuff?
I think that both, because you can't be with your kids 24/7.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you gotta prep them for any of those experiences that they go through as best you can. You gotta give them some game at home. If you're not giving them no game at home, then they're only left with school game.
Yeah.
Now, you can't leave them to just school game. So, a little bit of both. They got to be able to wear different hats in this world. You can't just be in the streets, or you're going to get swallowed up.
And what point do we have that conversation with our kids? So, because, you talk to your kids about the birds and the bees. Now you got to talk to them about the birds and the bees and the bees and the bees and the birds and the birds.
Right. You're right.
And you have to prepare them for the actual factuals of things. But, at what point? Because, you don't want to sacrifice, like, let's say you don't talk to your kids about the birds and the birds. Mm-hmm. They go to school, social media,
it's hard.
TV, and then for you to have, if you 100 with your kids, like, look, I'm gonna be 100 with my kids, you know what I mean? They're gonna ask you, like, why didn't you tell me, or why haven't we had this conversation before? Because I have a friend at school, and I think my friend likes me, but not in the right way. Like, how did that conversation come up to when you can talk to a for fifth grader?
I think that starts with each individual and in their household, like you said, because it started so early on so many other fronts that you don't know when your child's gonna pick that up. You can go right now home to your 18-month, and they in the TV watching cartoons. and don't know that. You know what I mean? So when you ask that question, when do you start? It's already started on the other end. Mm-hmm. So you just got to keep it real with yourself to be able to keep it real with your child.
Yeah.
To say, hey, this is what it is. You know your child just like you know yourself.
So how many kids do you have?
I only have one. By me, yes, one.
Girl, right?
Mm-hmm. One little girl. Yeah.
How old is your daughter?
My girl is 12. Be 13 this summer.
So have you had this conversation with your kids yet? Your daughter?
Have I had this specific conversation? No. No.
So what point do you have this conversation? She has a...
The reason I haven't had this conversation with my child is because my child doesn't live with me 24/7.
Okay.
Right?
That's fair.
I only get my daughter 4 days out of the month. That's fair. So it's harder to have...
So have the mother had this conversation with her?
I can't dictate what conversations they've had. And nor would I try to dictate, you know what I mean? Only thing I can do is say, hey, I witnessed this during my time with her, and you might want to bring it up. But I can't dictate how they move, their relationship, and none of that. I stopped trying to do that a long time ago. Gotta get my head chopped off. You're not gonna do that.
Have your daughter actually came to you about anything?
It's hard, man. I'll be honest with you. It's really hard because I only get my daughter 4 days a month. Mm-hmm. How do you, for one, establish a relationship with a child, boy or girl, in 4 days a month? Mm-hmm. It's very hard. So if you don't establish a relationship, how does that child feel comfortable telling you anything if you don't have a relationship? So to answer that question, it's very hard to have any type of conversation, let alone that serious of one. But as a father, it's still my duty to have that conversation, or to lay those eggs, or to lay those, plant those seeds, as they would say. But at the same time, with 4 days, I can't overburden my daughter with.
You definitely don't want to, spoil her weekend
it's a hard lot.
With a hard conversation. But and just for future preferences, is going to come a day or time, that's going to probably come up, and just are you prepared to have that conversation when it does come up, if it does come up?
Definitely.
For me, you could be one of the lucky ones where it could possibly potentially never come up, and your kids can always be on the do have, but you just always have to, because as a parent, because I have kids as well. As a parent, you don't want to be you don't want to be startled when because your kids look at you like the guru of things, and like you the superhero, and it's normally like the little kids, like 6, 7 years old, ask daddy, oh, where did babies come from? God, I wasn't ready to prepare to answer this question. You done got past that stage, and I was like, I have a friend that might like, oh my God, now we got to have this conversation.
You just got to stay on top of your kids, man. Know your kids, know that they're going to be kids, and they're going to get into stuff, but at the same time, just check them.
So, Ms. Nin, you've been sitting here listening to this. Give me your thoughts on how does it impact the kid? How many kids do you have first?
I have 5.
So you got a whole tribe of kids. So that's perfectly normal. It's fine. So what are your kids' age range?
18, 13, 4, 3, and 8 months.
So the 8 months, you got to go like that for a while. 3 years old might be coming in the next maybe 18 months or something like that, or something like that. So how do you deal with your older kids, and have they had this conversation with you, and what are your thoughts in dealing with them in this?
Well, my 13-year-old don't live with me. He lives with his dad in Seattle. I still know a lot about the things that he's open to and things that he's been, introduced to while he has been in school and over there. My 18-year-old actually came up to me and said, I'm bisexual.
Your 18-year-old? Mm-hmm. Boy or girl?
Boy.
Okay, so bisexual. So let me ask you this. Is your 18-year-old sexually active?
Yes.
Okay. So how long ago was it from 18? What age did he come to you?
I want to say within a few months. Like it was almost...
A few months ago?
Like, what do you mean? Like when he told me he was bisexual?
Like how old was he?
Oh, he was 17.
So a year ago?
Yeah.
And he's been sexually active with boys, females first, and then...
I don't know if he went into boys. I'm not sure. All I know is that he told me when he lost his virginity, it was to a girl. He hasn't had a boyfriend, but he has told me that as he grew older, he had this attachment to guys and he never understood it. And for me, thinking back, yeah, he did have attachment to friends. Like there was a guy friend that he would come over all the time. They stopped being friends because he got a girlfriend, and then my child was sitting at home crying because he didn't have a friend anymore. Now, with that being said, I think, and every parent almost says this, but I think he was just confused. I think children have too many choices, too many options, and they start getting into, well, instead of going to A and B like everybody else, let me go to C and D and see what happens. Just trying something new all the time. Not saying that he ain't bisexual, but...
Well, in my opinion, you have to actually try it in order to say whether you this or not, right or wrong.
Yeah, but he seems because guys are more friends with him than
Yeah, but I done had friends that I grew up with that I was like best friends with it. I done went through the emotions of my friend got a girlfriend and I'm mad because we can't hang out like we used to. So, and that's even true as an adult man when you actually hanging out with your bro, and then all of a sudden he kicked you to the curb because he got a girlfriend. He's like, oh man, forget that bro, man. It's rolled before. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So that's a normal thing. So I'm trying to figure out when these young kids say that they are bisexual, but they have never even had bisexual sex, how can you claim to be something that you have no experience with?
That's a good question, man.
Is it just because you are just opposed to heterosexual that you just automatically say, I don't want to have sex with another girl anymore, I want to start, but if you have never experienced that, then how?
it's that option.
You know what I mean?
Table, that option maybe for attention. It could be any kind of thing. At that time when he said it, a few of his friends said it that were guys. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of like a little phase trend kind of thing.
That's always been my thing. Was like, you know, out of 100%, are all the 100% truly gay or bisexual, whatever preference it is, or is this just a fad?
Somebody might be trying. Try anything. They just try something. You know what I'm saying? So so I don't know, man. It's and then in talking about like the role reversal. Well, when you was coming up, if you over the age of 35, when you came up, you had husbands and wives and men and women, and the woman had a role, so to speak, in a relationship. The men had a role in a relationship. Now with some of these role reversals, it's not only a sexual preference that has changed, but it's also some of the control and some of the dominance that has changed. So in a relationship, when you have a woman that's independent, she have a tendency to be very dominant in certain areas, and hooking up with a not so confident man, it might lead to that woman being overbearing and controlling to her relationship. And so some of these role reversals are just financially and just in the house. So what are some of your thoughts on role reversal as it relates to a woman's or a man's role in the household and relationships?
I think at the end of the day, me personally, things got to get done. Whether a man doing it, whether a woman doing it. Traditionally, a man's going to cut the grass and a woman's going to be in there cooking. That's just traditionally how it works. But if a man is not there, somebody got to cut that grass.
Yeah.
If a woman ain't there, somebody got to cook that food. So I get it in that aspect. Okay? It's when you start to blur the lines, like I'm not going to do X, Y, Z, and I'm not going to do, A, B, and C, and you got both roles in the house. That's kind of like that.
And I think the struggle with me is like you said before, when there's an absence of a man, then a woman has to do what she got to do to raise your kids. when there's an absent of a woman, the man has to do laundry, cook and clean, just like. Here's the problem, though. If we have a shortage of men, then I can see a generation of women being that independent person. But when the man returns to the throne, when the king returns back to the throne, when the man has returned back to the order in his home, why, Miss Nin, why is it that women have such a hard time releasing the control? Why do they have so much hard time trying to fit back into the double relationship household where, okay, if you've been 18 years by yourself, you develop some independences that can't be challenged.
Yeah.
But when you meet somebody who's able to take care of you in those aspects, do you, as a woman, accept the responsibility of let me fall back and let me go into my position as a woman, or I don't care about what he got going on, I'm still going to do this because I don't want to depend on another. So what's your thoughts about that? Because I think that is the missing part of the black relationships right now, is that we have been programmed, like you said, that men supposed to cut grass, do this and do that, women supposed to do that, but when you have a situation where that person is not available, but then they say when you get a woman that can come in and cook, do you still continue to be the cook in the house? Do you continue to be the one that does the laundry and all that kind of stuff?
Can cook. I don't know what you cooking about if you can't cook. You just saying that you coming in there to cook, and you look now. I do it myself.
Let's hear from a woman.
I said I could cook to keep you alive. That's about it.
I told you no careful.
So you can't cook.
She gonna cook us some cereal. You gonna cook us some cereal?
I am not. No, I can cook like rice. There's some Spanish foods that I can cook. I can't cook you probably a whole meal without it being bland. Like it'll be bland. But I cooked you something, and there you go. You're gonna eat.
So you just a spearmint cook. Mikey eat it. He'll eat it.
Let it slide there.
Let's dig a little deeper. So the role of a woman, when you're in a house by yourself, 18 years, 19 years, or whatever, even if it's 5 years, and you find a king, what do? Do you revert back to, being his helpmeet, being a queen, or do you still say, I'm going to continue being independent because I don't want to depend on a man because the fear of me being comfortable with him and then leaving?
Yeah.
So what's your position on that?
That is, that's exactly what I think. It just, like I was thinking in my head, it was just the different type of women. Some women have been hurt so bad that they're just, no, you can come cut my grass, you could come fix anything in the house, but you got to go back home. Because I'm on my own, I'm doing everything. I'm paying the bills, I'm doing everything. They're stuck in that way.
How do you get unstuck though?
How do you get unstuck?
Like for you to be
give it up.
You got to trust.
Yeah, you gotta trust. You gotta give that wand and just be like, here, you can do it. I mean, there's some women, like for me, it was, okay, I gotta back up now, but I'm still there. I'm still on the fence where I am gonna pay my bills just in case you don't do it. I'm still gonna make my money in case you're not there. But I'm gonna let you cut the grass. I'm gonna let you fix some things, and we'll see how it goes. It's gonna take some trust and stuff. But as far as the dominant part, I feel like going back to what we said about dominance and the women do this and the men do that. I just think more it's what you see on TV. Like if that was the same thing that was on TV now, that men go to work, women stay at home, do this. If that was the same thing that was on TV right now, that's how we'll be living. But because it's not, and it's empower women, let's go working, not a fence, but if we want to do everything, we want to go in the army, we want to do this and that, that dominance, and you keep playing on the TV, that's what's going to get you. That's what you're going to feel like. So I'm going to feel like, oh yeah, I'm great as an independent woman.
And I understand your point, and that's good. And that's actually like, you know, playing into what we're talking about, that, you know, the independence of a woman makes her want to conquer the world and be out and be able to go to the military and everything. But when you have an alpha male who believes equally about the same thing,
About working and paying the bills and all that stuff.
yeah, and you have a lot of people that struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? And for me personally, I just think that, you know, some women, you know, when they say they want a real man, if you don't allow a real man to come in and do what a real man do, then how can you claim that there's no good man around if you're not even giving him a chance to do and prove himself? One thing about a man, when he's born with those, nuts, he can't return them.
Yeah.
So he's born a man, so he don't need to prove that he's a man by stature because of he's born.
Yeah.
Now, some of his behavior may be not a grown manish. You know what I'm saying? It might not be kingish. He might not have king. He might not be a kingsman in his actions, but the fact still remains the same. That, you know, when you have a man that is, we have, and he play devil's advocate. Some of these moms who don't know how to work and know how to pay bills and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about those men.
Yeah.
Those men get a pass this week. I'm not talking about those men get a pass this week. I'm talking about the ones that do have a job, that do have their own house, and they're looking for a relationship, and they already have the establishment done. And you are the same, equally successful in your field. You have your house set up, you have your own career. And when those two people meet and the man invites the woman into his house to dwell with him, then you say, well, I'm not moving in with you, like you just said before, when you cut the grass and clean up and then go back home. You need to go home. You sleep at your house. You're not sleeping here overnight. You're not paying the bill when I come. You know what I mean? Like, how do we get past those situations? Because those are some of the ones that's going to actually end up, butting heads, because you got an alpha female and an alpha male, and neither one of them wants to give up their control because they've been hurt. You know, a man let a woman come in and take over half the bill so she can feel like she's important and that she can feel like she belongs here and she lives here, and then the first time in trouble, she exits. And now he has to recuperate from, okay, well, I had her paying this bill, so now I gotta go back to paying it again, or whatever the equation is in a relationship. Or the woman gets with a dude and she invites him into her house, and he comes and moves in and he starts paying things, and then whenever they get into an argument, get the F out, get out and kicks him out of his house, and then now she has to figure out, okay, well, I had Tyrone paying the rent. Now I got to figure out how to get this rent paid because Tyrone was paying that bill. Now he was gone, so now I'm back struggling again. And so some of that pain of that past, you don't want to get nobody else involved because maybe he gonna do the same thing Tyrone did.
Yeah, Tyrone did it. Call Tyrone.
So you want somebody to call Tyrone, but then you say you can't use my phone. Well, I'm gonna call Tyrone. They say, I ain't got a phone. That's the big difference. So that's one part of the spectrum.
Talk yourself into a winning position. This will make room for you. A good leader knows how to delegate authority to other people to make yourself look good. A good leader knows how to put people in position and work in their field. This your boy Daniel LionsDen Evans. So whether you achieving your dream today or tomorrow, always shoot high, because you can always change how it ends. So my takeaways, this is a very nice car. It's very sexy. It really does fit my personality. I love my Challenger. as my main car. I love my Range Rover as my secondary vehicle. I can definitely get used to driving a Italian car of this caliber. It's definitely on my radar. So I am going to be very fast. I love the handles of it. The stereo system is awesome. I believe that this is going to definitely be a future purchase for the Lions Pride. But like I said, I came down here just to put my hands on this car, put my hand on my dream. So there you have it, people. This is the Maserati 2018 test drive. Went well. I really like the car. I mean, I like it even more now that I actually drove it. Before I was just liking it off of dream. And now to be able to come out here and touch it, be able to drive it, and be able to just really experience it. Definitely impressed by the way this car is made. Yeah. I want this car, so it's up to me to make it happen and make it become a reality. So I wanted y'all to just share this opportunity with me, this experience with me, to come out here and drive this car. And that's all I got for right now. This episode of Inside the Den on the road test drive. But you heard it first, Inside the Den.
But let's go back to the role, the gender roles reversed. Like, you know, as a you know, man, a single man, you know, how do you deal with dating knowing that you have transformers that I like to call them Decepticons, because you know they were born one way, and then they go and have a surgery done, and then they somewhere. How do you deal with dating as a single man, knowing that there's Decepticons out there?
Carefully, well, you gotta be on your P's and Q's out here. First, you better check the neck. You better check the neck.
They got surgeries for that.
Hey, you better check it anyway. Everybody ain't got money.
Asking for some baby pictures.
Everybody ain't got money. That's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let me see them babies. Let me see them albums pull out. You know what I mean? You know, look at them hands. You better look at them hands next, because you can't. What you gonna have new hands, but it don't work like that. But no, you just gotta be careful, man. You don't know what's what, who's who. You got BBLs, all type of stuff on men and women. I didn't know they had them for men.
Oh yeah.
I just found out that the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Everybody's deceiving each other, trying to look for
what?
I mean, it's.
But anyway. Yeah, man, you just gotta be careful, man. You just gotta be careful. Know what you're dealing with.
How do you deal with it as a woman, single woman?
I haven't had to deal with it. I mean, some females maybe would get at me, maybe not. I mean,
not just the females that would be lesbian, but the females that have undergone surgery and portraying to be men and trying to holler at you. Like, how do you deal with that? Like a transformer trying to talk to you.
man. I honestly do like a good stud.
You like studs?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so what's the purpose?
That's the bad part. I don't know.
Because, you know, if you've been in a situation where you said, I'm sick of men, because the men are liars and cheaters, and you want to be, I'm off the game. Whatever you do. So, but when you go to a stud,
Okay.
and he has to use extra equipment because you don't have the original equipment, then do you really hate men, or you just hate the attitude that with the men? Like, what part of the dislike is it? Because you still have to you have to mimic, right, the equipment of a man. So how do you do that in confidence, saying that I do not like men, I just like the equipment? Like, how did that pan out for a single woman in that situation?
I like studs because they look like men. Like they're very sexy men. Like it's a woman, but it's a sexy man. But what I get from it is that it's still a woman, so you know that they know what a woman wants or what a woman needs. It's not because I hate men.
Oh, okay.
It's not. Yeah, that's
But don't
not
you?
the reason why.
But don't you realize that a man is equipped to know a woman's needs? Like even if you say a woman knows a woman, you don't what?
They're not emotional as we are.
I think men are more emotional than women, and then you can help me out. But I think men are more emotional than women because here's the thing about a man, and everybody can, you can agree with it or not. But this is just me 40. This is my 42 years wisdom. Man has to be a protector, so he has to be aggressive. But a woman wants a man with sensitivity, so he has to be sensitive at the same time. A man has to be the leader, so he has to be very knowledgeable of situation that occurs. But he has to give his wife his woman ability to lead, to teach as well. So he has to be also a student of the truth or of logic. He has to be fearless in front of the enemies, but he then has to still have the compassion to take care of his babies as well. And so you have all of these emotions up in one, and at the drop of a dime, he can be any one of these people. It's proven that a man comes home to his family, his testosterone level drops 40% when he comes home. Just by walking through the front door and, Daddy, 40% drop.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be on defense.
40% drop. But then he had to snap back. He had to get 50% when somebody hit an outside trash can fall over. He hit his car alarm. All of a sudden, he has to switch back to what?
50%. That was
Hero mode. He got to step back into hero mode.
Put my chest back out. Oh look.
And so when you talked about men not being emotional, I believe, as a man, that's not true. Men are very emotional. Men have a tendency to do more when their emotions are involved. Like, think about how hard you're gonna work if your daughter told you, Daddy,
I think that's one of the problems, though. I think men are emotional, and these days men are too emotional.
Too emotional because I believe they're trying to please
Please the woman.
the woman.
And I think that goes back to our previous conversation, our prior conversation, as to when that male role is gone. Now you don't have that Mr. Fix-It in the room. You don't have that go cut that grass, but you still got Junior that's still with Mama. I got to make sure the Mama is still off my tail at the end of the day. So that's gonna come with some feminization, for lack of a better word, to that child, to that boy. So, which leads to emotional, in my opinion.
So it's not like you don't like men. You just know. You say a woman knows.
A woman knows a woman.
Okay.
I've heard that before.
A woman. I've heard that before.
I've heard that before.
A woman knows a woman. So is it just sexual, or is it?
It could be anything. Like, it could be even sensitivity to going through your cycle. Some men don't see that coming. They don't know how it feels, but a woman's gonna know how that feels.
Well, I can agree with you on that. But to just totally discard the man, the whole man, just throw the whole relationship away. No, throw the whole man away. The whole relationship on the man.
Yes, it's just sometimes guys hold on to their feelings. Like, we want them to be strong. We want them to feel like, sit down with us, cuddle with us, maybe even cry every once in a while, but not all the time.
That's hard to set up. It sounds like a straight setup, because the moment you start crying with your woman and you get into an argument, she's going to say, this joke is always crying.
Always crying.
Chipping at his doggone, chipping at his ego. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna crack it.
That's a setup. Yeah, I'm trying to be emotional with my girl or whatever, and you start crying with her. As soon as you get to argument, cry baby.
What you gonna do, cry in the car?
And they be like, oh my goodness, you doing all this whining, what the baby gonna do? I'm like, I know it. I thought you said you liked this.
As so bad I had that.
But not all the time. But when you allow a man to start getting emotional and start doing, it's almost like that Pandora's box. Like,
So everything coming out.
you get more, you getting comfortable with that. Then it's hard not to be comfortable when you start off on that road. And then the first time you get into an argument and she threw up in your face, you're like, you know what? I'm going back into the doggone hole, shutting the door, and I will never reveal this all back again because I've tried it. You've made me, sensitive, and I've showed a sensitive side, and you took advantage. So now it's back to fight mode.
I say once. I mean, I'm talking about like crying or having a feeling like if you lost someone, like in a death. I'm not talking about like everything wrong, everything. No, not that sensitive. But even if I lose someone, I want you beside me because you care of that person. You're gonna shed a tear or two, also.
We cry together. So when she say you're a crybaby, and say, well, you are too. You the biggest one of both of us. You the biggest baby out of both of us. So have you had any experiences?
With crybaby?
No. Have you had any experiences with the opposite sex, the same sex, as far as a lesbian?
Yes. I've had, well, it wasn't really a relationship, but it came close to it. And I didn't go through with it because she was very emotional. So she was too emotional at this point.
Oh, so now it's like you don't know what you want. You said the man is not emotional enough, and you get a woman, and the woman is too emotional. So what do you want?
It might have just been that typical, that person. Maybe it wasn't the right person.
So she was a crybaby.
Yeah.
So that turned you off.
Yeah.
So that day you said, I'm gonna go back to the dudes, or you just said, I'm just finding me another a dyke or
a rough stud.
I am very picky about my women that I would want. So I went back to the men because I'm very picky about my women, and if I don't find her, then I'm not going to her. I'm gonna go to the man.
So, have you had any?
Nah, I'm not with that. This ain't that, bro. This ain't that. Nah.
So let me ask you, man. What would you say to a woman that's trying to find her king and like you say, can't find the right emotion, can't find the right stability? Like, what do you say to a woman that's on the fence of trying to find her happiness?
Trying to find her happiness, on the fence of finding her happiness. First of all, are you happy? Like, you trying to find your happy, are you happy? Because don't nobody want to be with somebody that ain't happy. Mm-hmm. You not about to bring my joy down, you feel me? So that's the first thing. And second, I guess, would be, are you really looking? Because you can say you're looking, but not be looking. So are you really looking? What are you doing? What behaviors are you putting in place? What strategies are you doing to open yourself up to that king? Not just saying, I want a king. Ain't no man out here. Nah, what are you doing? Check yourself. Work on the inside, then work out.
I have heard that before. I have heard that you need to be looking at a man that has the same things you have. So basically, this way you're not like looking for a man that's rich, but you still eating,
So how do you feel about that? Because that is one of the things that I feel in a relationship that is, if you start off one way, then it's going to be that way for the whole relationship. So for my point. So most women want a man who's 6 foot tall, makes 6 figures a year. Mm-hmm. They want him to drive a certain car. They want him to have a Mandingo, this size. And then when you look at the woman, she work at Popeye's Chicken. She drive a Honda Civic, and she got 12 kids. But this is the kind of man that she wants. how do you deal with that type of relationship? Because you want something that you can't qualify to even have. And so if that man did come off his situation and stoop down to deal with you on that level, then from the first day you say yes, who's in control of the relationship?
Him, off the rip.
Why? Because he makes the most money and he has the most amount. So the whole time you're like, I want to be treated equal.
No.
I want 50-50.
No.
don't care.
How can you get on an equal playing field with somebody that you don't qualify to even maintain as a woman? So you get to these situations and you like, oh, all he want to do is throw money around. Because a man is like, what do you do for me other than sexual? And I don't know, like, how can you contribute to my household? Like, can you pay one of these bills? I mean, so it's like, they struggle.
Yeah.
But then you got the other side where you have a woman that's making six figures, has a house, and then she might meet what she considers a scrub is a guy who thinks he flies, also known as a buster, always talking about what he wants to do.
I hated that song.
I heard that song.
So you did one of them guys, and so, but he has the mandingo,
Yeah.
but everything else he's lacking in. And so how does that situation work? Because the first time she gets mad, she's gonna say, take your broke, you know.
Use your finger.
They go back to you though. Like I said, they go back to her. What is her priorities? You know what I mean? Are you being real with yourself by saying, I'm looking for a good man? That's what they always want. I want a good man. What's a good man?
Good.
Yeah, what is a good man? What you mean? He got 2 legs, he got 2 feet.
So would you date a man that's lower class income than you?
I have. I won't anymore.
How did it work out?
When you have seen things and you just don't want it anymore. How it was is that he didn't want to work. I had to work for him, and
But you had love, and they said all you need is love, right?
Cool. Them
yeah, them love don't pay the bills. I'm sorry, that love don't pay the bills.
So the man had a hope and a dream, you still question him.
It's like the thing that we have to look at too. When guys look for women and women look for guys, okay, let's say the typical women's looking for the guy with everything nice and all the money. And the men are looking for the women that look Coke bottle, just all of it. But when you get older, these things get old.
It does.
I mean, you can't say I'm going to go with this man because he has the money, blah, 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 and he has the big, well, it's going to get shorter soon, and it's not going to work after a while. And then the women,
Sucks for him.
she's going to just get,
They make pills and drinks and juices. Now they got this honey out now. They can make that resurrection happen like Lazarus. We call it the Lazarus effect. Indeed. He was dead. Now he done came back to life on him. Yeah, he in his 60s too. He got a nice car.
Screwed up on him. Hey.
So, I mean, and this is one of the topics, like I say, this is first time on Inside the Den we even talk about this type of stuff. It's good to have a female perspective, but I don't want to we're not going to turn it into a women bashing session, but just want to get a different opinion of things that men talk about inside the man cave. Like, how can women request or how can they be asking for a man that does A, B, and C, and then they can't even equal or match him, and then you want to be 50-50, you want to be, and then another thing that irritates me about some relationships when women say they want a real man, but they got fake eyelashes, fake eyebrows, they got fake titties, their butt jobs is fake nails, but they want a real man. Fake hair. So you get what you put out into the world. So if you're putting out a bunch of fake vibes and a fake energy and all this fake attraction to men, you find a real man that you caught him with the fake attraction, and then when everything hits the fan, now you like, you know. And he's like, well, shoot, I thought you was this way, but you done pulled your whole head off the goddamn shoulders and set it on top of the dresser. I'm supposed to stay in love with somebody who done tricked me. So that's where the lies start.
Yeah.
If you had to lie to get somebody, then why are you complaining about the lies throughout the relationship when you got to keep going? Because this show was like, well, I got you under false pretenses. Now I got to deal with, but you want the truth.
Yeah.
It's just
Truth is the best way to go, though.
You
Please.
gotta be one with yourself.
So tell me the truth.
so. Let me ask you this question, and then we're gonna wrap it up in a few minutes. You know, like with all the reverse gender roles, how did we get here? When did it start becoming normal to be in the alphabet community, and then as a heterosexual, it's like you're frowned upon now? Like if you're not homosexual, now it's like you're not normal. How did we get here?
Man.
How? And where are we going?
Man, at first one I thought was a complex question, boy, but then you hit me with a where we going, but that one right there, that's a good one.
I have some opinions about where I think we're going. I have some opinions on how I feel that we got here.
Yeah, I know how I feel like, how I feel like we got here was, it's been a process. It ain't just been overnight. This ain't just been flipping the lights, you know what I mean? And now we here. Nah, this started, from slavery on up. Probably before that, you know what I mean? Butt breaking from there all the way up, you know what I mean? Putting the black man as the pastor in the church, just so he can not only spy but have intercourse with the women of the church behind the husband's back, you know what I mean? Like it's some stuff that you can't really chronologically. I can't put it in a chronological order, but all of that stuff plays a part into where we are currently, leading on up to the black man was arrested so much to where we ain't got no man in the household. So now I'm forced to, as a woman, be the mother and the father. You know what I mean? Well, if I'm playing both roles, heck, I might as well go get me a female if I'm feeling like that, or you know what I mean? So it's so many different layers to how we got here. It's ridiculous, man. You could spend 3 days course on just how we got here. Where we going? I don't know. It's I shake my head every day, man.
So what you think? How we get here? Where we going?
I think how we got here was, I still stand by my too many options, too many things, too many people. Like, people want to do this and that, so they experiment. So now it's everybody experimenting. You got more than one option. You can be female, you could be male, you could be bisexual, you don't even have a label. Like, it has become that in all documents and school, everything. So it started when we started giving everybody options, including our kids. Our kids has too many options. Because this is not how it used to be. But now, you have the option. You even have the option to go to school with a tail and the ears. It's crazy. So
With a tail and ears. What? There's something new?
I don't know. That's a new
like
day.
a stuffed tail and ears.
Huh?
Like a little
Like
band of ears, and call yourself a cat. Yeah.
Like if you
They actually do it in school?
You can actually label yourself as a cat.
like on November the 1st, not on Halloween.
Oh, come on, man.
Like every day. Like, wear the cat tail, wear the cat hat, and you can say that you're a cat.
So you check the cat box.
Yes.
Ain't no cat box for nobody application. Where that come from? See, this is why I don't get it. So
I don't know.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
So where we're going is,
I didn't even know we were there.
I didn't know we was there. I didn't know that. But it's almost like, this is one of the things that in the Bible, God talks about the abomination that causes desolation, Sodom and Gomorrah. They were doing a lot of this stuff we're doing right now, and God destroyed that city. And anybody who looked back became a pillar of salt. we are, as the United States, becoming, if we have not already in God's eye, becoming modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Sex with animals, unnatural, sex with same sex, being able to legalize marriages and stuff like that, gay marriages, and homosexuality has becoming a normal thing, and being normal has become not normal.
It's crazy.
But how we started, I feel like, it goes back to the origin of when God created the man and created the woman, and she talked to someone else other than her husband. I believe that was the first display of the cheater.
Okay.
Man and woman, Adam and Eve was there together, and she went outside relationship to get counsel and get advice from the serpent, and came back to him and said, taste this, try this.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, the husband has got to say, well, if I love my wife, I want to please her, so I need to bow down, and I need to take what she's doing. And because of that, the man has been on a downhill spiral ever since, and the woman has been on an incline to power and to control because of that incident that happened that wasn't supposed to happen. Now all of a sudden you got to go buy flowers, candy, rings the size of a boulder to make your woman feel like she's worth something, or that you love her, because she's not happy. And they say happy wife, happy life. When if you go back to the original order, the woman was created to please
The man.
for his pleasure. She was created to give him order and give him structure and give him, but then that happened, and now we on this downhill spiral. And like you said earlier, it has become so frustrating with a woman. It might have been you the one that said that. Oh no, you said it. It was you just said that, they have been doing things by themselves so long, and they have gotten to that role of a man. They say, I might as well go and get me a woman because I'm doing all this by myself. I don't need a man. And society has devalued the black man in the home, put him in jail for petty crimes, and taking the man out of the home, leaving the woman to fend for herself. And she's gotten stronger over the years because she had to do this without a man involved. And then when a good man, a king, comes along, she has a tug of war with him, like, I refuse to let go of my control because I've been independent so long, I don't want to be hurt again. And then he's like, I know you've been hurt by the last man, but I'm not him, I'm a different dude. So, and then it's the tug of war, and then when y'all both can't fulfill each other, here comes the cheating, here comes the lack of concernment, the lack of emotion, because I done been, if I show my weakness, then she's gonna dominate me because I'm showing her my weakness, and she's gonna call me out in front of my friends and call me a punk and a female dog and all type of names, and all I did was just open up emotionally and connected with my woman, and now I'm a punk because I cry. But we cried together, but it's normal for a woman to cry, so she just sucked you into that old crying, and she's like, he a punk.
You should have been crying.
All he do is cry.
Should have cried by yourself.
He's crying to his friends now, and all this kind of stuff. So,
I know what you mean.
we're going into where we're headed is like Jaden Smith. He wants to cut his genitalia off and be identified not as a man or as a woman, but as a human.
So
they have those in the Bible called eunuchs, where a eunuch is somebody who doesn't have a sexual preference because they have devoted their life to God, and they don't need no distractions. But to want to be called, you don't want to be identified. You have. If it wasn't meant for us to be identified, then God would have made it all without identification. They have certain, and God has created certain species of animals that can change from
one to the other
to reproduce, but it's only for the purpose of reproduction.
And that's why we were made like that.
They're not walking around like, oh, I want to be a man today and then a woman tomorrow. I just took.
Take a roll. I'm gonna take a roll today.
But as a society, as a people, we going through this thing, man, called life together, and we have instructions in the Bible, but we get, we simply get more instructions from social media than we do from our Creator. And as we going through this life, man, we have to worry about, are we doing the things right by ourselves? Are we doing things right by our kids? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Your kids have to have confidence in their ability to come to you for answers that they don't know about this world. And sending your kids out there without instruction is sending them out there blind.
Right.
If you tell your kids what you don't know won't hurt you, it's not true, because you can be in front of a highway blindfolded, and just because you can't see the car don't mean you even get hit by one if you're out there in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So we have to make it our business to educate our children and have these tough conversations about the birds and the bees, but have that second conversation about the bees and the bees, and the birds and the birds, and the birds that used to be bees, and the bees that used to be birds, and the bees that are currently birds, but they have a stinger. So it's like you got a bird walking around with a stinger that there used to be a bee. They didn't get rid of the stinger, they just got rid of the, So I'll often say, instead of trying to change things as a people, we just need to evolve into something greater. And when you evolve, you don't turn into something completely different, like a change. The thing that's inside you has come out, and you evolve into something that was already put inside you versus trying to change your DNA. You know what I mean? Like a caterpillar. A caterpillar is born and it goes around eating leaves, but its whole life as a caterpillar is leading up to that
change,
that evolution. And it goes into a cocoon and comes out a butterfly. It's not that he became a different animal, he just grew wings. Because you look at the butterfly, the body of a butterfly is still resembled as a caterpillar. He just had to go in there and evolve into something better. So as a man, you want to evolve into a better man. How do you get there? Keep men in your life that has either been where you're going or actually going down the same road as you, and the man that hasn't made it to where you are. Those are three very important men that you got to have in your life. The one
run it back.
You got to have three men in your life.
Okay.
The man that you're trying to be like is the man that's older than you, who's already been where you're going. Ask him for advice. How'd you navigate through your 30s and 40s, 50s? He says, young blood, I got you. The man that's on the same road as you, y'all going to the same destination together. Like, hey, bro, is it me or do you feel the same? And then the man who hasn't made it where you are, you got to go back and fill that man up, because each one teach one, because he's watching you for an example. And if you got somebody watching you, it makes you, or it forces you to deliver right example, because he's trying to find out who he's going to become when he gets to your age. And you're looking to the future for guidance, as well as the one that's already where you are, that's going to be going through the same road. And those are three men you need to have in your life. As a woman, I don't know if you have anybody in your life that can actually help navigate you, but we have to go back in dealing with women to the old school. We used to cook, clean, pamper their husbands, and made them feel like a king when he come home from work. Because as a black man in America, I mean, you have so much going already against you from birth. Man. You have to fight the whole world. You have to do your job 10 times better than your white counterparts. You have to put up with more drama than them. You come home and you got to still deal with the inconsistencies of the black culture and the black relationships. And then you still have to have enough left, enough testosterone, enough wisdom, enough power, enough of anything left to be a father and navigate a child.
And I can't cry?
through all of this. And do that without any flaws. Do that without any hesitation. Do that without any, just without any negative, and then see what the child thinks about you, and you can really enjoy your children as an adult when they finally made it past all, and you're like, now we can be friends. Because I ain't got to teach you anything else. You know what I'm saying? But we all trying to get to the same place in life. We trying to get to a point we can actually have fun with our kids instead of having to always check and correct our kids.
I can't wait for that.
We want to be able to enjoy our grandkids without having to worry about, you know, the mama, you know, and the daddy of the child and all that kind of stuff. So, you know.
It's coming. Hold on, real quick, man. I just want to back that up. You said I need that. Because this for my young folks, man. You broke it down to me, and I get that. Right? But you said I need an OG. You said you about 10 years older than me. I need an OG. I don't know if I'm find that, but they out here. I need somebody on my level. That's coming with me. We got the same vision. We going to the same destination.
Same age in life, same part in life.
And I gotta get one of the little homies.
Get one of them homies. You need those 3 men. Every man, y'all listen to me. Every man need those 3 men, because what I have, you know, every year on my birthday, I reflect from the year before and see where I have grown. And what I realized in 42 that you like to take a village to raise a child. It takes a village to go through manhood. Because all men have not been trained properly. So you have to look at other men who are actually on the same road of life, but they may be a different area, because that man 10 years ahead of you, he already done seen the potholes that you haven't seen yet. He can say navigate because it's a pothole, and it towed my car. I was stuck for 10 years with this pothole, so I'm telling you about this pothole. The guy that's on your level is like, look, who gonna motivate you to get to the 10 years? This guy, and man, we in the same place, man, we gotta get together, but let's get it together. And then the one behind you, like, he ain't even seen what we just went. We just went through a whole bunch of hell. This guy let's help him, because he's watching us. He's gonna hold us accountable, because now you his OG, but then you got an OG. He's gonna say, old school, I just saw you doing this, man, but you told me, and you be like, yeah, you're right, young blood. You do it. You know what, young blood, you're right. Let me show you the right. So you have to have those people in your life that will help you accountable. So, you know, and that's just what I've discovered and learned on my 42 years. You know what I mean? For the woman, like I say, I don't know how y'all navigate, but call Big Mama. Big Mama tell you, girl, you gotta take care of that man 6 times a day and twice on Sunday. Like, God, don't get Grandma, you talking the right stuff. Don't never let nobody get close to your husband. Stuff like that. So this was a good conversation to have with you all. So I do thank you all for coming and spending time with us, Ms. Nin.
Be here.
Brother, we appreciate you coming out. This one of my guys, man. I've been been mentoring him for a couple of months now, and I need guys like him to hold me accountable with certain things, because I'm going somewhere, and I've already been to places that he ain't been yet, and I get it. But just do one better. Go find somebody and pull them up and be able to show them that, hey, it ain't always going to be like this. You know, as a young father, when you was first having your child, you probably thought that nobody understood your situation. But that OG said, I done been there and done that.
Couple of them.
You know what I'm saying? People that's going through stuff right now, and you're like, hey man, how do we help each other get to the next level as a people, and then as humans, like this role reversal, man, is real. It's real, because a lot of people get hurt through the process of just not having the answers to those questions, and just trying to figure out how we can become better. So that's our time for the day, you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button on Inside the Den. This is season 3. We thank you all for spending time with us. This is your boy Daniel LionsDen Evans, and you heard it from the den.
Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I'm a lion and ain't nothing but anything. We on fire and my brothers, they on fire too. And we'll fight for each other, that's what Lions do.
Progression of the team is the purpose of our devotion. You can see that we've been working and really having some motion. None of it was given, you know that we had to hustle. And that's just how it is when you coming about the struggle. They say it takes a village when you raising a child. And they all turn into your family after a while. We gotta feed into each other, show love to one another. Not a race, but I know we can all finish the mile. When we step up in the den, you letting go of your past. You the only person that can really hold yourself back. The pride and strength of a lion is truly a match. Everybody has it when you a part of the pack. Now this ain't the type of place that'll judge you for who you are. We just get you on your way to becoming a superstar. I told you once before and I can tell you again. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just trying to win. What's up?
Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel. Just tell me if it's real. Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Tell me how you feel.
Just tell me if it's real.